Hi everyone, in this video we're going to look at calculating time difference. So first off we're going to look at units of time. So if we start with the smallest one that we usually deal with, we'll look at seconds, and then we go to minutes, and then hours, days, and then weeks. And if we look at trying to move between the different times, so if we're going from minutes to seconds, what we need to do is multiply by 60, as there are 60 seconds in a minute. So if we're going back the opposite way, from seconds to minutes, it's the opposite of multiplying by 60, it's going to be divided by 60. And if I continue to look at the others, the next one we will look at is going to be moving from hours to minutes. So again, there's 60 minutes in an hour. So I'll need to multiply by 60 to go from hours to minutes. Moving back the opposite way, I divide. Now, how many hours in a day? We need to multiply the day by 24, as it's 24 hours in a day. And if we go back the opposite way, we're dividing by 24. How many days in a week? So a week, we multiply by 7 to get the amount of days. And going back the other way, we divide by 7. So putting that into a table here, so 1 minute equals 60 seconds, 1 hour equals 60 minutes, 1 day equals 24 hours, 1 week equals 7 days, 1 fortnight, we didn't mention before, is 2 weeks, 1 year has 52 weeks, a decade 10 years, and 1 century has 100 years. Okay, now we're going to look at 24-hour time. So at most airports, you'll see the time represented in 24 hours. Now this time here, 4:30, let's say that's 4:30 p.m. So if we're trying to get this to 24 hours time, so they are equal, what we need to do, or a simple way what we could do, is just add 12 hours to this. So if I add 12 hours, or just 12, it's going to get me to 16:30. So say if it was 1:30 in the afternoon, okay, I add 12 to the 1, that's going to be 13:30 in 24-hour time. So a simple way for you to convert, if it is just simply 0430, that's the equivalent of 4:30 in the morning. Okay, and when we're looking at calculating time differences, if we look at UTC, what is it and what does it mean? So Coordinated Universal Time, abbreviated UTC, is the primary time standard by which the world regulates clocks and time. For example, Sydney is UTC plus 10 hours. It is a successor from the Greenwich Mean Time. Okay, so that means from that Coordinated Universal Time, we're 10 hours ahead from that point. Okay, let's look at an example now. So number 1, Sam decides to host a Lord of the Rings trilogy marathon. The Fellowship of the Ring has a runtime of 178 minutes. The Two Towers has a runtime of 2 hours and 59 minutes. The Return of the King has a runtime of 200 minutes. If Sam and his mates start watching at 7:15 p.m. on Friday and there are no interlude breaks between films, what day and time will the marathon finish? So first of all, I'm going to underline some of the key points in there in terms of the times. Now there's no interlude break, so that just means it just keeps going from the start point, and they start at 7:15 p.m. on Friday. So I'm going to write all those times down. So 178 minutes, 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 200 minutes. And what I'm going to do now is to convert those all into hours and minutes. So 178 minutes, not quite 3 hours. Remember the 60 minutes in an hour. So if I divide that by 60, that'll give me 2 hours and 58 minutes. This one's already in, 2 hours and 59 minutes. And 200 divided by 60, that'll give me 3 hours, 20 minutes. So if I add all those together, that's going to equal 9 hours and 17 minutes. So it starts at 7:15 p.m. on Friday. Let's say we go ahead 9 hours. Where do we end up? And that will put us at 4:15 a.m. So 4:15 a.m. plus 17 minutes, and that's going to be 4:32 a.m. on Saturday morning. Okay, example number 2. So Mel leaves Darwin, UTC plus 9.5 at 1:40 p.m. on Monday and arrives in Singapore, UTC plus 8 at 4:50 p.m. on Monday. How long is Mel's direct flight from Darwin to Singapore? Okay, so again, I'm going to underline some of those key points. All right, so if we have a look, Singapore's plus 8 and Darwin is plus 9.5. So that means that Singapore is 1.5 hours behind Darwin. Okay, so 1.5 hours behind Darwin. And it's saying Mel leaves Darwin at 1:40 p.m. on Monday and arrives in Singapore at 4:50 p.m. on Monday. What I'm going to do, I'm going to convert that 1:40 to Singapore time, and that should help us identify how long that flight is. So 1:40 p.m. minus 1.5 hours, and that's going to be 12:10 p.m. Singapore time. So now we need to look at the difference from 12:10 to 4:50, and that's going to be the length of the flight. So we can see it's 4 hours and 40 minutes is the flight time. Okay, let's move on to our last problem now. We're looking at a train timetable. Okay, so say Phoebe wants to catch a train from Parramatta to Blacktown. What is the latest train Phoebe can catch from Parramatta to arrive at Blacktown station before 7:15 p.m. So again, catch from Parramatta to Blacktown. All right, I might just highlight. Parramatta is here. And Blacktown is all the way down the bottom here. Okay, so there's a few options. So when we've got a train here, 7:08 at Parramatta, that does not go to Blacktown. There's a flight at 6:48, getting there at 6:57. So that's a little bit early. 7, get in at 7:17, 7:06, 7:23. So they're getting there too late. All right. So it looks like this one here, which is the 6:52. So 6:52 p.m. from Parramatta. So the latest train Phoebe can catch is that 6:52 train from Parramatta to arrive before 7:15 at the Blacktown station.